I'm about to record a video on dollar index top-down analysis and my bias. Starting with the monthly chart. So we had this consolidation on the monthly, had these highs and these lows. We broke out from the upside, had a rejection off of this bullish order block, monthly level. And we did not get up to the midpoint of this bearish wick, which is a bearish indication, weakness. So we see that, we drop all the way down, take this liquidity, and then we run the lows here. Now, the whole time price was inside of this. It was being supported during that whole consolidation. Staying above the midpoint, see the body's closing above it, showing that we don't want to go down. Came and touched the midpoint, shot up, took these highs. We came down. So when we closed below it, not only we closed below this gap, we have a small monthly gap down here, and we closed below that. Boom. And at the time, I said we closed below this monthly imbalance. So I'm expecting lower prices. Where can it go? We have a low here. This fair value gap has been used. We have a low here. And we have a fresh gap down here. So I'm looking at these levels for liquidity to be targeted. I don't have an imbalance in this area to hold price up. Closing below these gaps. And as we shot down, we created this bearish gap, left it open. This bearish gap, left it open. Now, if we were going to reverse, I would look for price to run up into this monthly gap. So when we see this bullish candle, I'm looking to see, okay, do we start to respect these down close candles, respect that gap again, push above the midpoint of this gap that used to support price, then the midpoint of this wick, and those things will let me know that we starting to turn around and, we want to push back up into the range. But we come back up, have this bullish close. Where does it go? I'll zoom in here in a second. But if we get down to these lows, I will still be looking forward to run this low as well. Those equal lows there, relative equal lows, boom. And if we get down there, we got another close low right below it. But that's a lot of movement. A lot of movement. And this is the monthly candle. So anyway, bullish close candle. What was this? Month of July. Month of July come up. Where do we go? And we go. I'm looking at this wick. Do we reach? And I got it graded into 4 sections: 0%, 25%, 50, 75%, and then the low of this wick. So I want to see if price rejects. I'm expecting it to, honestly. Since we closed below this, I was expecting it to stay below this gap, but we closed up higher. And we went, for August, we went and touched the lower quarter. See that 75%? See how we wicked up into it? Boom. Opened the month of August, came up, wicked up into it. Heavy delivery. Back towards the low of this monthly gap. I would want it to support this area. If we were going to come up here, find support, I'm looking forward to turn around here at least, not get to the bottom half of this level. Also, this order block now, I would grade that, and I would look for the midpoint of this level to be the last area of support for higher prices. Right now, we're below it. We still haven't closed August. We're going to close in a little bit. And I will want to see where we close. Do we close inside of this gap or do we close below it? Get rid of this. What else is on this level overlapping the 75%? It's this low here. And this is a breaker. It's called a breaker because we have a high, low, a higher high, and then price runs through it. So oftentimes we find support at this level once we come back, touch it, and drop. So to see this bearish, bullish candle there after sweeping into it, that's indicating that from this drop here that we're still weak. We still weak. We only got up to the lower quarter of it, and I'm expecting a resistance, and we get it. Let's see. Then we're looking at the weekly chart. See, I got drawn out on a weekly chart. I would like to see this bullish gap here, the space between this high and the body of this weekly candle, the month of July 14th, the week of July 14th. I want to see that area traded below. Right now, we are respecting it. Bodies are closing at the midpoint and higher. But look at these bearish wicks. Every time price come up there, we got heavy delivery, heavy resistance. And we just barely getting held up here. So I'm expecting this to give way and to drop strong. We have, oops. What else am I seeing on a weekly? We have this bearish weekly fair value gap as we was trading through this monthly gap. That created a gap. Price came up, wicked up into this wick here. Body's respecting this gap. Boom. Body's closing inside of it. Heavy delivery. We come back up and touch it. Heavy delivery. Let me do this. Now, I remember a few weeks ago, I was bullish on DXY up to this level, these equal highs. When it's smooth like this, I'm expecting price to rip into it, make it jagged. Well, at that point, I wanted to see what it wanted to do. This is where we could have traded up, found support at this level, found support at that level, find support at the high and start to go higher. But as you see, that liquidity level, we just run it, stop run, take that liquidity, boom, heavy delivery down. And this was when we came up into that 75% level on this week. And consequently after that, and there we are here. So on a weekly, I'm looking for this low to be ran before we even looking at these lows down here. Because we still, where's that weekly gap? Where's that a daily? But we got this low of July 21st that I'm looking to get ran. And then we got the low of June 30th. I'm looking to get ran. We got a little smooth level right here. Wicks right on the same line. Just giving us extra giving me extra confluence that we want to target these eventually, that low. So we see these bearish wicks. I'm looking for this weekly candle to get ran lower. We got this up close candle. Price is respecting. We did close above midpoint, but this was on that very strong candle. So on the daily chart, on that week we ran up into that level. We had a fair value gap higher and then lower. When price came back up into it, this is what I'm gauging for weakness or strength. When price come into this gap, do we close above? Do we get to the midpoint and do we close above the midpoint? We get to the midpoint, boom, heavy delivery, we close. And not only do we close up under this daily fair value gap. I was looking for this to resist price. You see the bodies? Boom, bodies, boom, bodies, boom. This body closed above this gap, but where did it go? It's respecting this order block. Boom. Make that thicker. Hopefully you can see this. Get rid of this. So at this point, I was looking for a run Thursday. Where's Thursday? Yeah, I was just looking for a trade up and a run up into this gap and then resistance. But we closed higher, which gave me a little bit of a pause. But seeing that we only closed right at the opening price of this up close candle, which is an order block. Boom, respecting it. Let me zoom in on that. This opening candle, draw it out. Body's respecting it. Let me know that we still weak. We still want to go. We still don't want to go higher. Even though the wicks are doing the damage and going up, going up, going up. But we closing inside of this daily SIBI. That being said, once we get this drop down, boom, we come up again. Now this is just consolidation, low probability conditions. But when we close high like that, I'm like looking, okay, are we running this up close candle? What are we doing? We wick into the gap again, boom, close. We open, wick into it, boom, close. We open, wick up into this wick here. Let's see where we are as far as the levels of this wick. Wick right up into the midpoint of this wick, boom, close below the opening or the close of what's this, Tuesday's candle. Then we gap lower on Thursday, trade up into the previous day's body, up into this up close candle. Boom, close lower. And today we gap lower, open, run up into, this is what I call a volume imbalance, where there's no bodies overlapping. Boom. And we could still trade up in this area, but we not closing above this daily SIBI, we not closing above this wick, if we not getting back into this BPR, balanced price range, I'm looking for the midpoint, the bodies. Once I see the bodies starting to close below this weekly imbalance, which is 97.675-ish. So I start seeing bodies closing. This is what I was expecting this week, but we stayed in this upper half. Now this is a signal of strength. Us remaining in this upper half with the bodies, that's a signal of strength. All things considered, I'm expecting us to disrespect this weekly candle. And the reason I say that is, price could still respect this and run up higher, but I wouldn't be bullish per se until we start getting closes above at least this daily SIBI, at least this level. We start getting closes above that level, I can't consider it being strong. Right now, it is finding some support here. But with all things considered, shoot. How we was waking up, closing. I'm looking for that to draw lower. We got this low, this low, this low, this kind of like trend line liquidity here. We want to run into. I think it was something else I was looking at. And the fact that we don't have any new gaps, like how this gap was here, but look at all of this movement and action inside of this gap. You know, this consolidation here. And once we expand lower, price is not going to want to come back above this consolidation. It's going to be balanced price range once we come back up. If it does come back up, it'll be a strong boom move down. So right now, my line in the sand is this weekly gap, 97,675. If the daily body's closing below there next week, we might gap lower. We might gap low. Trade up, and push lower. That's just hearsay. But this getting worked so much, that's a weak signal. I expect this to fail. It did fail. This, how we came down into this weekly midpoint, that's what I wanted to point out. Just us coming down into this, we swept it here, swept it there, swept it down here. If price was strong and bullish, we would come back into it, boom, and we would be gone. Like here, like this. This is what bullish looks like. Price came down, heavy. As soon as it touched this gap, wicked into it, bullish close. Price respected this down close candle. And we taking off. Disrespecting this candle. Traded above it, closed above the midpoint of this small gap here. Price open, boom, ran all of that. That's what bullish looks like. Right here on this weekly gap, we into it, just in there. We not even getting back above this daily SIBI. Once we start running up, boom, come back, run up, boom. So I'm looking for price to gravitate lower and to gravitate under this low because we don't have any fresh areas for price to find support off of. And this is the 4 hour. Price coming into this daily fair value gap, trading down. Coming to this bullish order block, trading down. I got this 4 hour order block, these two up close candles, the midpoint of that, we wick into it, boom, trade down. Break this swing low, which is a shift in market structure. Gap lower. I draw out this gap. Bodies. Look at the bodies. The bodies are staying below the midpoint of this gap. Which is why I said what I said the other day, that I want a price to, boom. Up close candle being respected here. Coming to it, boom. What's my day? Line, boom. Bodies. We got these few up close candles. Drop down below it. Let's draw this out. Open it to that. I'm expecting price to, it's Friday though. Friday, what time? Friday 3:30. But all things considered, I'm expecting price to find resistance into these up close candles. And I'm expecting the bodies, just like here, this up close, I'm expecting the bodies to stay below here and start to push lower. That's why I got my arrows like this. I'm expecting us to get into the lower half of this weekly gap, come up back up to the midpoint of it, find some support there. Might be these two up close candles here, and start to push lower, close below it, and you know, all things considered, doing that. And once we get, well, I'm not gonna go there, but this is why I'm bearish. Once we did this from this gap, see that that's a nice show of strength. How we came into it and went higher, but it didn't really go anywhere. It went higher up into a resistance area and then fell out of bed. Boom. Disrespecting this gap. And once it disrespects it, it's gonna come back up and use it for resistance. Come back up and not close back above the midpoint of it. Uh-oh. 3:30, I gotta go. But this is why I'm expecting this. Boom. I'm expecting these up close candles to be respected. I'm expecting this low right here to be broken. See if I can upload this before I go.